Merry Eggmas. The the rugby keeps on coming, so the videos here on Egg Chasers keep on coming as well. I'm loving this Derby weekend in the URC. And I've just finished watching the Sharks against the Bulls. And it lived up to the hype. It was as intense and tight a game as I was anticipating. And here comes the score. Spoiler alert, 20 points to 17. And the Sharks managed to win, in some people's eyes, against the odds. Because it was a pretty much, almost, not quite, but a pretty much fully stacked Bulls team with the majority of their Springboks in the side and some good experience on the bench up against the Sharks team, yes, with some of their superstars there, but a few missing and some disruption in the week due to illness and injury. Sia Khaleesi, one of them, just strained his calf a little bit in the week, so unable to play. Other players like the hooker, they had a couple of young hookers in because Bongi Mbambi not available, and Dylan Richardson gets ill along with a few other people. So there were some youngsters thrown in to the Lion's Den, or the Shark Tank, I should say, and managed to come away with the win. And the way that John Plumtree and the Sharks squad celebrated at the full-time whistle, I think speaks to maybe how pleased they were to have come through all of that adversity, and equally the frustration that the Bulls' body language showed after the game, and the way that Elric Lowe spoke, and I'll come to that in a minute, I think was revealing. And it'd be interesting to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe on the channel. I'll start with sort of big overall takeaways in this one before I get into the actual game itself. And yeah, Elric Lowe in that post-match interview, I thought I was quite revealing. He was really honest, and I think he nailed it. He said the Bulls didn't execute and the Sharks lived off scraps. And they did. I mean, it's very, very rare for a team to win when they are absolutely munched that much at scrum time. And the fact that the Sharks found a way to win with, yeah, I mean, they've got an amazing squad and brilliant players, but they did have some missing. But they had a scrum on roller skates, and they still managed to find a way to win. Now, part of that is the resilience of the Sharks. Part of that is just the poor execution, as Elric Lowe said, of the Bulls. And I wonder about the Bulls, just coming to them first. Is there a little psychological factor here? And can this permeate from the coach? I don't know. But you think about this game, okay, this game in one 80-minute match was basically like the Bulls' season last year overall in the URC. Did so many things really, really well. But at the crucial moments when it matters most, not able to deliver. Losing in that final to Glasgow at home. Devastating. And just in this one match, it felt a little bit like their whole season last year. Because, I mean, objectively, they were the better team. They had more territory. They had more opportunities. They controlled the game, partly because their set piece was dominant. But they just made strange decisions at times. When to go for three, when to go for the corner. Just didn't all come together. And again, I can't just sort of say that as a negative for the Bulls. You have to credit the Sharks for that as well, managing to find a way. I thought the Sharks were really, it was quite intelligent the way that they gave penalties away when they did. I mean, they managed to give away just the right number of penalties in just the right parts of the field to just avoid getting a yellow card or any major sanctions for it. I thought they were quite lucky in that sense, to be honest, not to get a yellow card with the repeated penalties. But I guess that just shows a savviness, a sort of rugby smarts, that they managed to just do the right things at the right time when it really mattered. And I've mentioned the scrum. That was one of the big features of the match, was the Bulls absolutely marmalised the Sharks. And the Sharks scrum with Oxenche and Vincent Koch in its front row. Wilco Lowe and Gerhard Steenekamp absolutely smashed Nche and Koch, which you would not expect. The Sharks are usually the ones dishing it out. I wonder how much that just goes to show how important Bongi Mbambi is, and Ebenezebeth as well, by the way. And they managed to do it without the kind of leadership qualities of someone like Sia Khaleesi, who had a calf injury in the week. I did wonder, with all the talk about maybe going back to the Stormers and wanting to be near his family, blah, 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 post-divorce, all the rest of it, I did see that Khaleesi wasn't in and think, is something going on there? But no, just a calf injury. But they managed to do it without him. And Chichuka, who came in, was into the back row, was or it was in the back row, was very, very good today. So filled the breach really well. When it clicks for the Sharks, they are very, very good. But 80-minute performances are going to be necessary from them, aren't they? They can catch fire, but I don't know. Do you know what it is with this? And again, I've talked about the psychology of the Bulls. Just talk about the psychology of the Sharks. In that last few weeks of last season, when they went on that little run to win the Challenge Cup, there seemed like this desperation from the Sharks. It doesn't always seem there, does it? When they're playing within an 80-minute game, they can sort of float in and float out of matches, switch on and switch off. They're going to need to deal with that if they want to actually really progress in the URC. It's a tough one though, and like I say, there were mitigating factors there. Yeah, and do you know what? Talking about the actual match, I want to start in the last 10 minutes. So it was 20 points to 17. The final score, that's what it ended. Jordan Hendrickson has just scored a penalty. I mean, he missed a couple, but he got the third one. So the Sharks are 3 points up. The Bulls are getting penalties from scrum pens. They're winning penalty after penalty after penalty, in fact. And what do you make of the decisions to go for three when they did go for three, hit the post, to not go for three when they went for the corner at other times? I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. I do wonder in tight matches, particularly derby games, whether throughout the entire match you should just take the points when they're on offer and the scoreboard will take care of itself. But having gone for it and going for the corner, do you know one thing I really noticed? They were on the Sharks line, having got a couple of penalties to get them into position. And on two different occasions in the dying moments, they had penalty advantage. The referee had his arm out saying penalty advantage. And the Bulls stayed really narrow in the way that they played. They just tried to play with one out runners and muscle it up and lost the ball. And the Sharks mopped it all up. And eventually it got to the maul where they knocked it on and the attack was over. And I think back to earlier today, Marnie Libok for the Stormers, penalty advantage, and he got the ball to the outside and had a crack, rolled the dice, and it came off with a try. And I think had it been the other way round and had the Sharks been attacking, if they'd have had penalty advantage, they would have gone and got the ball into Mapimpi or Apalele Fassi's hands. And the Bulls have got Villy LaRue and Kanan Moody out there, and they never seem to have the ambition to get it to him. And that might be one of the things I would criticise. When you've got penalty advantage and you can roll the dice, and the worst case scenario is it doesn't come off, but you can come back for the penalty anyway. Like I say, hindsight is always 20/20. I've already mentioned Apalele Fassi. I love that guy. My God, what a player. Attack, defence, in the air, running. He's just an elite talent. And I only found out today why he's called the Weekend Special. I looked it up. And yeah, I didn't know about the, what was it, Brenda Fassie song from 1983. I love the South African nicknames they have. And, well, just South African nicknames in general is a thing. There was someone when I was out in South Africa, and some people on the channel in the comments referred to me as Tim Coetzee. So even giving non-South African people South African names is a thing. I love it. So anyway, I found out about the Weekend Special today, the name. And I quite like the Weekend Special. He's very, very good. So is Cam Hanekom. And when I saw him go down injured after about 5 minutes, I thought, no, not again. Sasha Feinberg-Ngomazulu went off early in the game today. And I was really looking forward to seeing Hanekom, and I thought he was going to go off injured. He didn't. And then he showed why he is hyped so much. That guy is immense. He really is. So as for the game, well, we had a 10-0 lead for the Sharks. The Hendrickson boys doing it all. A penalty and a conversion from Jordan. Try from Jaden. The Weekend Special, very good in those early moments. The Bulls applying scrum pressure, and that got them in some territorial position. Meant that Cobus Wieser went over for a try. Response there. And then they scored with another try. Quick fire double for the Bulls to go 14-7 ahead. It was Vorster finishing it off. Again, the scrum dominance, a massive feature of the game, especially in that first half. And they took maximum advantage from it. I thought a big moment in the match was the last 5 minutes before half time, when the Bulls couldn't capitalise and really take advantage. And again, you think about the end of the game, the last 5 minutes of the first half, the last 5-10 minutes of the second half, those real crucial moments. You've got to commend the Sharks' defence, but you have to criticise the Bulls' ability to really go for the jugular when they've got it, go in for the kill. And so it was a 4-point lead at half-time, which did turn into a 7-point lead when Gerson scored the penalty on 54 minutes. But that was it for the Bulls for the day. They didn't manage to breach the line or get over the bar one more time. Jordan Hendricks missed a couple of pens, got one though on the 69th minute. But the try before that, again, Ethan Hooker's been credited with that, but I've seen it credited as a penalty try as well. So Ethan Hooker, he's another talent. So in a really poor performance from the Sharks last week at Leicester, and I was there at Welford Road, I was seriously impressed with him. Future Bok right there. And the person that I meant to mention on the video yesterday when I was talking about future centres for South Africa was Henko van Veek. I completely forgot his name, but yeah, Henko van Veek, Ethan Hooker, Lorenzo Julius, they've got some talent. And Bernard Janzi van Rensburg, he's an absolutely quality player. Great mullet as well. And if South Africa don't pick him, England will be very soon. There we go. It'll be a happier Christmas for the Sharks fans than it will for the Bulls fans. Jake White under pressure. John Plumtree was under pressure, I feel. And maybe that's why he celebrated in the way that he did. Hogs all round. They knew just what a massive match that was. And with 34,000 people there to watch on what they called Sharks Fest, there was... Marco Mazzotti would have been desperate for the locals to really enjoy themselves and see their team win. And they have won in Durban, which shakes things up. It lived up to the Derby tenseness, didn't it? If that's even a word, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. It's been a long day. I've watched a lot of rugby and I'm going to go and watch some more. I'll see you on the next one.